Imagine being so much of a menace that the entire world unites just to delete your save file. That's the vibe right now for Fang Yuan. After 500 years of being a professional demon, he's finally cornered, bleeding out, and surrounded by righteous heroes who look like they're about to post a victory TikTok. But our guy doesn't do losing. He decides to go out on his own terms, sacrificing his entire existence to trigger the ultimate reset button. And just like that, the world's biggest villain wakes up in a peaceful bedroom 5 centuries before he ever became a problem. 500 years of experience packed into a 15-year-old body. The tutorial is over, and the server isn't ready for the veteran player. The sky is literally screaming. Fang Yuan is laughing through broken teeth, while these righteous masters do a TED Talk about his unforgivable sins. Look at this guy. White hair, red eyes, covered in the blood of probably half their families. They've been chasing him for 6 hours, and they're terrified, because even when he's dying, he's reciting poetry. Because, why not? If you're going to go out, you might as well be the most aesthetic demon in history. See, Fang Yuan isn't even from this world. He was a scholar from Earth who got isekai'd here, spent 300 years struggling like a background NPC, and another 200 becoming a literal god of destruction. He spent all that time refining one thing, the spring-autumn cicada. The Righteous Alliance wants it. They want the power to control time. But Fang Yuan is a, if I can't have it, no one can kind of guy. Fast forward to a rainy village 500 years in the past. These elders are praying to their ancestors to give them some talented youth. They're basically praying for a gacha pull that isn't a 1-star trash character. The Guyu clan is desperate. They haven't had a main character level genius in years, and the neighbors are starting to look at them like a free loot box. They keep hearing about this kid Bai Ningbing from the rival clan, who is basically playing the game on creative mode. But wait, there's hope. The village has their own prodigy, a kid who is talking at 3 months and writing legendary poetry by 5. The elders are already counting their money. They think they've found the chosen one. Compete fair and square, the leader says, knowing damn well they're going to glaze this kid until he hits rank 9. They're all talking about Fang Yuan, the boy genius, the future of the clan. Meanwhile, the prodigy himself is staring at his own hands in the rain, realizing the time travel actually worked. He's back, 15 years old. No powers, no demonic army, just 500 years of memories, and a soul that is darker than a Discord dark mode. The Spring-Autumn Cicada is basically a suicide-powered time machine. Most people think it's a myth, because the cost is literally everything you own and your life. Fang Yuan paid the price. He sacrificed a rank 9 cultivation just to get a second chance at being a menace. He's not even mad about losing his powers. He has the cheat codes. He knows where all the legendary items are hidden, he knows who's going to be a hero, and he knows exactly how to kill them. Right now, this village feels like a cage to him. But a cage is safe while you're level 1. He just needs to pass the awakening ceremony tomorrow. But then, there's a knock on the door. It's his twin brother, Fang Zhang. This kid is the definition of side character energy. He's timid, he's worried, and he's looking at his brother like he's a god. Xing has spent his whole life feeling like a background prop, while Yuan was the star. He feels ordinary, like an ant, born from the same womb, at the same time, but the world only cares about the genius. Imagine your whole identity just being the brother of that one guy who's actually cool. Fang Yuan looks at him and smiles. But it's not a good big brother smile. Yuan remembers everything. He knows that his prodigy status was a total scam. He only acted smart to trick their greedy aunt and uncle into treating them better. He was a scholar from Earth. Of course he could recite poems better than a 5-year-old. But in this world, poetry doesn't kill people. Gu cultivation does. And here's the kicker. In his past life, Yuan only had C-grade talent. His ordinary brother, Xing, was the one with the A-grade potential. The roles are about to flip. The genius is about to be trash, and the ant is about to become a dragon. Fang Zhang is terrified of tomorrow, thinking he'll fail again. He has no idea that he's about to main character all over his brother. The morning bell sounds. It's the 5th watch, the hour of the tiger. The village watchman is doing his rounds, telling everyone to be careful with their fires, but the real heat is already building up in the village. Fang Yuan is wide awake. He's only slept about 2 hours, because his mind was racing with 500 years of memories, and honestly, that's a lot of baggage to unpack before breakfast. He looks at his hand. This body hasn't even started cultivating yet. It's weak. It's exhausted. It feels like a standard issue starter character with no stat points invested. But his determination, that's still level 99. The physical weakness is just a temporary debuff he's planning to patch out as soon as possible. He opens the window to let the morning air in. The spring rain has finally stopped. It's a fresh start for a world that has no idea what's coming for it. A voice calls out from below. It's the maid, Shen Kui, telling young master Fang Yuan that it's time to get ready. Look at that smile. She's all flowers and sunshine, acting like the perfect, loyal servant. She brings the water for him to wash up, acting totally submissive. She even helps him get dressed, lingering just a bit too long. She's trying to use her charms to keep him wrapped around her finger. But our guy sees right through it. To him, she isn't a loyal maid. She's a spy, planted by his aunt to keep tabs on the genius of the family. He knows her true face, heartless, vain, and ready to swap sides the second his stock price drops. Then, the door creaks open. It's the younger brother, Fang Zheng. Zheng stands there watching the scene. He sees his brother getting the VIP treatment from the prettiest girl in the house, and you can see the envy eating him alive. Zheng is internally spiraling. He's wondering if a girl like Shen Kui would ever look at him like that, especially since the servant he was assigned is, well, significantly less aesthetic. He remembers that even his wrinkled servant was only given to him because his big brother asked the aunt and uncle on his behalf. He feels like a charity case. He knows Shen Kui isn't just any maid. Her mother is the head caretaker of the whole household and has the aunt's ear. Shen Kui is basically servant royalty. Feng Yuan knows this, which is why he coldly tells her she doesn't need to tidy up anymore. In his past life, Yuan actually fell for this. He thought if he got A-grade talent, he'd make her his concubine and give her a better life. But the second the results came out and he was revealed as a fraud, she was the first one to give him those, ew, get away from me looks. 500 years later, he doesn't have the energy to care about a teenage gold digger. He tells her to leave. Deadpan. Zero emotion. She's actually offended. She's used to guys simping for her, and Yuan just treated her like a piece of furniture. She puts on the fake sob act, but she scurries out anyway. Now it's just the two brothers. The atmosphere is heavier than a Discord mod's gaming chair. Yuan asks him if he's ready. He's tightening his wristbands, prepping for the ceremony like it's a business meeting. Zheng says yes, but he's looking at Yuan's tired eyes. He realizes for the first time that his perfect brother might actually be struggling too. Yuan just stares into the distance. All those sibling rivalries and household politics, meaningless. Then let's go. They step out into the village, and the scale of the day finally hits. The whispers start immediately. Look! It's the Fang brothers. That's the guy who wrote those poems. Yuan is a local celebrity, and he knows that being this famous is a double-edged sword. People love a genius, but they love watching a genius fall even more. Zheng is shrinking. He hears people wondering if he has any talent at all compared to his brother. He's gripping his sleeve so hard his knuckles are white. The sun hits the mountain peaks. It's showtime. Jing's hand is literally shaking. The pressure is hitting him like a physical weight. He's terrified of failing, terrified of being the disappointing twin forever. He's staring at his brother's back. He feels like he's drowning in the expectations. He's trying to keep it together, clutching his chest, breathing like he's having a panic attack. Yuan glances back. He sees the struggle. He thinks about the aunt and uncle. They were always the puppet masters, planting seeds of jealousy to keep the brothers divided. In his first life, Yuan was too naive to see the strings. He didn't realize that their family drama was a carefully crafted plan to keep the inheritance away from them. But now, he has the wisdom of a man who has outlived empires. He could fix this. He could charm the servant, suppress his brother, and outplay his relatives in a week. He has 100 ways to destroy everyone in this village. But I don't feel like doing all that. He looks at them all, the maid, the brother, the greedy relatives. In his mind, their images are shattered. They aren't obstacles. They're just NPCs he's about to leave behind. As long as you don't stand in my way, you can step aside and scram. He's officially done caring about their opinions. The awakening ceremony is held in the ancestral hall. It's the most important building in the village, built to look imposing and ancient. The elders are all there, looking down at the kids like they're evaluating livestock. The clan leader tells them today is the turning point of their lives. No pressure, kids, but if you fail this, you're basically a peasant forever. They lead the group down into a dark, underground cave. And then, they see it. The underground spirit spring. It's glowing with ethereal light. Even Fang Yuan, who has seen the most beautiful sights in the world, has to admit this is a decent view. Here is the lore drop. Centuries ago, the Guyue clan migrated here and found this specific spot. They discovered the spirit spring hidden deep in the rocks. This spring is the lifeblood of the village because it produces primeval stones, the literal currency and battery for all magic in this world. This cave is the foundation of their power. If the spring dries up, the clan dies. The edges of the spring are covered in moon orchids, beautiful, glowing flowers that only grow in high-energy environments. These orchids are actually food for many types of goo insects. For the clan, this flower sea is their greatest cultivation resource. It's where they breed the insects that give them their powers. The kids are mesmerized. They've never seen anything this magical. An elder opens the scroll. It's time to start the walk. The rules are simple. You walk into the river of orchids. The farther you go, the more the spirit energy accepts you. The farther the walk, the higher the talent grade. Clear! the kids shout. They're ready to speedrun their destiny. One kid is thinking about how his father said this could change his whole life. He's not wrong, it's the ultimate social mobility test. The first name is called Guyue Chenbo. He's terrified. He steps into the water, splashing through the glow. He reaches the orchid bank. The flowers start to react. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. He's straining, trying to force his legs to move, but it's like he's walking through invisible mud. The elder sighs. He writes down the result. Guyu Chenbo, 3 steps. The verdict? No talent. He can't even become a Gu master. The kid is devastated. He just realized he's going to be the village's future janitor. The next names are called. The failure rate is high. Fang Yuan watches calmly. He knows that, statistically, only about half of these kids will have any talent at all. The Guyu clan actually has better odds than most because their ancestor was a legendary powerhouse. The bloodline is strong here, which is why the elders expect so much. But the clan leader looks worried. The quality of the students has been dropping lately. Next up, Guyu Mobei. This is a big one. He charges into the orchids. 10 steps, 20 steps, 30 steps. He's crushing it. He stops at 36 steps. The crowd goes wild. 36 steps is a solid B grade. The elder is actually smiling now. He tells Mobei to come over so he can check his primeval C. He places a hand on the boy's shoulder and uses his energy to scan the aperture, the energy battery in his stomach. Mobei has a 60% full C. He's officially a talent who will be vigorously trained. Here's the breakdown. The world is divided into 4 talent grades. D grade stays at rank 1. C grade reaches rank 2. They're the grunts. B grade can reach rank 3 and become elders. But A grade? That's the jackpot. They can reach rank 4 in 10 years and carry the whole clan. An A grade is basically guaranteed to be the next clan leader. One elder is Haheng in the background. That's Mobei's grandfather. He looks at his rival, Qi Lian, and asks him what he thinks of his grandson now. It's total, my kid is better than yours energy. Qi Lian is fuming. He hates losing, especially to this guy. An hour passes. The average results keep rolling in. The clan leader is sighing. The bloodline is thinning. They haven't had a rank 5 master in centuries. Then he calls the next heavy hitter, Gu Yu Chi Chen. This is the grandson of the red-haired elder. He looks nervous, sweating bullets. He steps in. He also hits exactly 36 steps. Another B grade. The elders are stunned. The crowd starts whispering. This is huge for the political balance of the village. Qi Lian starts laughing his head off. He's rubbing it in Mo Chen's face. But Fang Yuan is watching, with those cold, 500-year-old eyes. He remembers this. Qi Chen didn't actually have B-grade talent. He cheated. Yuan knows exactly how they did it. He knows at least a dozen ways to fake talent that are even more flawless. He could have cheated too. He could have faked an A grade and been the golden boy. But he didn't have time to prepare the materials. And more importantly, Qi Chen can get away with it because his grandfather is an elder who can cover the tracks. It's a high-level political cover-up. The two elders are so busy fighting each other that they're willing to commit fraud to stay on top. Yuan knows this secret is a ticking time bomb. In his past life, it took an incident for the truth to come out. He thinks about exposing them right now. He'd get a small reward, sure, but he'd also make a mortal enemy out of one of the most powerful men in the village. Not a good trade. Gu Yui Fang Yuan. The room goes dead silent. The prodigy is finally being called to the stage. Yuan just gives a small, dark smirk. He steps into the water. Everyone is expecting a miracle. He's about to give them a reality check. Don't go anywhere. The fall of the genius is about to happen. And how he uses the fallout is going to change everything. Before we see the results of the walk, we need to understand the lore. The oldest legends of this world talk about a thing called Hope Gu. In the beginning, when the world was just a savage wilderness full of things trying to delete you, the first man appeared. His name was Renzu. He didn't have claws, he didn't have fangs, and he certainly wasn't made of mountain rock. He was basically at the bottom of the food chain, hiding all day, because everything in nature wanted a piece of him. He was weak, he was hungry, and he was losing the game of life. Just when he was about to give up, 3 Gu came up to him with a deal. They told him that if he provided for them with his life, they'd help him overcome his predicaments, which is just a fancy word for getting eaten. First, Renzu gave his youth to the biggest Gu, which granted him strength. He started hitting things really hard, and for a while, life was good. But strength alone wasn't enough when an entire group of problems showed up at once. So, he gave his middle years to the most beautiful Gu, which gave him wisdom. With wisdom, he learned how to think, reflect, and conquer goals that muscles couldn't touch. He became a menace. He ate the meat of his problems and drank their blood. But then, he got old. Strength and wisdom realized he had nothing left to give, so they pulled a classic move and ghosted him. They left him standing there, alone in the dark. Old, toothless, and surrounded by predators again, Renzu collapsed in total despair. That's when a third, tiny Gu approached him. Renzu told the Gu to get lost, because he had nothing left to give, but his final few seconds of life. But this goo was different. It didn't want his youth or his middle years. It just wanted his heart. Renzu agreed. He gave his heart to the tiny goo, and suddenly, a light exploded that made all his problems run away. That was the hope goo. From that day on, as long as a human has hope in their heart, they can survive anything. Back in the present, the name Guyue Fong Yuan echoes through the cave. Fong Yuan just smirks. He finds the irony of this situation hilarious. He steps into the spirit spring, splashing through the water like he owns the place. The hope goo starts swarming him. They are attracted to his spirit, sensing the 500-year-old monster inside. The light is intense. The villagers are leaning in, holding their breath for the prodigy moment. Yuan can feel the hope goo moving into his body. A massive burst of light hits his midsection. This is the moment the aperture, the magical battery, is born. The clan leader is watching with those sharp, expectant eyes. But then, the whispers start. The elders are noticing something is off. The number of hope goo entering his body is underwhelming. This is definitely not the signal of an A-grade talent. Yuan keeps walking, but the invisible wall is already pushing back. He's focused. He's counting every step. He reaches 23 steps and feels his momentum die. 24, 25, 26, 27. Boom. The pressure inside him peaks. His heart is pounding. He's pushing against a wall that doesn't care about his 500 years of experience. The light settles. The ceremony is technically a success because an aperture has opened. To Yuan, this isn't just a battery. This is his ticket back to immortality. The aperture is a weird piece of metaphysical real estate. It exists inside his body, but it doesn't take up space like his organs do. It's infinitely large and infinitely small at the same time. This is the primeval sea aperture, the source of all a goo master's power. Inside, there's a thin membrane of light holding everything together, and inside that membrane is the sea of energy itself. For Yuan, that sea only fills 44% of the container. In this world, that is the literal definition of C-grade talent, mediocre, average, and definitely not prodigy material. He reaches out and touches the invisible wall in front of him. Just like in his previous life, he can't take even one more step forward. Nature has set his limit. The elder is confused. You can't go any further? Yuan just gives him a look. He doesn't need to explain himself to a guy who's going to be irrelevant in 10 chapters. The elder sighs and writes it down. Yuan walks back, perfectly calm, but the kids in the back are looking at him like he just grew a second head. What? Fong Yuan only took 27 steps? The shock is hitting the room like a flashbang. People can't believe it. The guy who was hailed as a genius, the poet, the prodigy, is just a C grade. Even his brother Zhang is reeling. His entire worldview was built on his brother being an unreachable god. The elders are actually arguing. They think the spring might be broken or the result is a mistake, but the academy elder shuts them down. You can't fake the walk, and you definitely can't cheat when everyone is watching. He explains that while intelligence and memory are great, they don't always translate to high primeval talent. The clan leader looks like he just watched his favorite sports team lose the finals. The disappointment is physical. In his past life, this was the moment Fong Yuan's world ended. He remembers the whispers, the C-grade label burning into his soul. He remembers the disdainful looks from people who used to kiss his boots. He remembers the internal panic. But that was 500 years ago. Present-day Yuan? He's built different. He remembers the lesson of Renzu. When problems come, you give your heart to hope. If other people are disappointed, that's a them problem. He's going to walk his own path, and anyone who doesn't like it can go cry about it in the comments. The elder sighs and calls the next name. Gu Ye Fong Zheng. Zheng is so nervous he literally trips into the water. Great start, buddy. The clan leader covers his face. The Fang brothers, nothing special. He's ready to wrap this up and go home. Zheng is panicking in the water, hearing the laughter from the other kids. He's trying to get up, but he's so overwhelmed he can barely move. He looks at his brother. Yuan just stares back with those pitch-black eyes. The crowd is laughing, calling them the difficult brothers, who are both equally disappointing. Yuan leans in and whispers 2 words, "Go on." He gives Zhang a small pat. To everyone else, it looks like a brotherly comfort. To Yuan, he's just nudging the domino he knows is about to fall. Zhang looks stunned. He expected his brother to be mad or depressed, but Yuan is just there. Zhang turns back to the spring. He starts walking, and he doesn't stop. 10, 20, 30, 40. He hits 43 steps, and the whole cave goes silent. Oh my god, A-grade talent! The elder looks like he just saw a ghost. It's been 3 years since the clan saw an A-grade. The miracle they were praying for just happened. It was just the wrong twin. Immediately, the vultures start circling. Elder Qilian says his family will adopt the boy. Elder Mo Chen jumps in, calling Qilian a corrupt old bag, and saying he should raise the child. The clan leader, Gu Yubo, shuts them both up. He's taking the kid for himself. No one is more qualified than the boss. He looks at Zhang with genuine hunger. This kid is the future of the clan's bloodline. 1 week later, the hype has settled into a new, annoying reality. Class is in session. The Academy Elder is giving the Intro to Goo 101 speech. He's explaining that talent determines your ceiling. B grade reaches rank 4. A grade reaches rank 5. Rank 6 and above are legends. The clan hasn't had a rank 5 in generations. While the teacher is talking about the destiny of the clan, someone is snoring. It's Fong Yuan. He's been sleeping through class for a week, and at night, people see him wandering the village with a wine jar. The other students are laughing, thinking he's broken because he couldn't handle the C-grade reveal. The teacher is giving up on him. He thinks Yuan's temperament is too weak, and fostering him would be a waste of resources. To distract the class, he tells the story of their ancestors. Specifically, the 4th clan head. He was a rank 5 beast who almost reached rank 6. The teacher blames his death on a sinister and cunning demonic master called the Flower Wine Monk. The story goes that the monk was a criminal who came to the mountain and tried to do bad things. The clan head beat him into a kneeling position, but being kind and merciful, he tried to spare the monk's life. That's when the monk pulled a sneak attack, mortally wounding the clan head before being killed. The clan head died a hero, sacrificing his life for the village. Fong Yuan wakes up just enough to hear the name Flower Wine Monk. He yawns. He knows the hero story is 100% propaganda. He's been searching the village for the monk's secret inheritance for a week. He remembers a story from his past life about a heartbroken goo master who turned to heavy drinking. Supposedly, the aroma of his wine attracted a rare liquor worm. That master followed the worm to an underground entrance and found the monk's hidden stash, making him a powerhouse overnight. Yuan hasn't been depressed and drinking wine. Because he's sad, he's been using himself as bait to lure that specific worm out. If he can find that liquor worm and make it his vital goo, it would be 10x better than the standard trash the clan gives out. But it's already April. Time is running out. He needs that edge before the first real assessment. The teacher interrupts his thoughts. He's finished the lecture on meditation and primeval essence. Now it's time for the first big test, refining their vital goo. Whoever finishes first gets 20 primeval stones. That's a massive head start. Feng Yuan is currently the village loser, but he's the only one who knows where the cheat codes are buried. Will he find the liquor worm before his genius brother leaves him in the dust? Stick around, because the real game is finally starting. In the world of Goo Masters, power isn't just about how hard you can hit. It's about the insects in your pocket. The academy is chaotic right now. Every student is scrambling to get their hands on their first goo, shoving and shouting like it's a Black Friday sale for magic bugs. The doors to the goo room are open. The atmosphere is tense. This is the moment these kids transition from civilians to actual players in the system. Inside the hall, there's a massive wall of stone compartments. Each little box holds a different rank 1 goo, just waiting for a master to pick them up. Now, a quick guide for the new viewers. Goo and Goo Masters both operate on a rank 1 to 9 system. If you're rank 1, you use rank 1 Goo. Using a goo higher than your own level is like trying to drive a tank with a bicycle license. It's going to cost you a limb or your entire life force. Plus, you have to feed these things. A rank 2 goo eats like a king, and a rank 1 student is usually broke. The first goo you refine is your vital goo. It's literally linked to your heart. If it dies, you're in for a world of pain. Feng Yuan wants the liquor worm for his vital goo, but he hasn't found it yet. Since he's running out of time, he decides to grab a Moonlight Goo as a backup. The Moonlight Goo is the signature move of the Goo Yu clan. It's not found in nature. The clan creates them using a secret recipe. It's the standard issue starter weapon for the village. But compared to the liquor worm, it's a basic pistol versus a rocket launcher. Feng Yuan leaves the academy and heads straight for the tavern. He slams his money down and asks for 2 jars of aged wine. The shopkeeper is all smiles because Yuan has been his best customer for a week. Primeval stones are the currency here, but they're also literal batteries for your magical energy. Yuan is spending his life savings on alcohol. He's not drinking it to forget his problems. He's using the scent to lure out the liquor worm. Most people use stones to meditate and level up faster. But Yuan is down to his last few coins, and the worm still hasn't shown up. He's starting to wonder if he'll have to settle for the basic Moonlight Goo after all. The Academy Elder announced a 20-stone prize for the first student to refine their goo. With C-grade talent, Yuan has 0 chance of winning that race through normal means. He needs a cheat code. Suddenly, his brother Zheng shows up, looking all heroic and concerned. Zheng is doing the "Big brother, stop drinking" speech, acting like he's the mature one now. It's crazy how much things change in a week. Zheng used to be a shadow. Now, he's standing tall, basking in the light of his A-grade talent. He's getting used to people whispering his name with respect instead of pity. In his head, he's thinking that his brother's downfall is just a stepping stone for his own growth. He finally feels superior. He's convinced he's the chosen one, and his brother was just a fluke. "You need to wake up," he shouts. It's the classic anime protagonist moment, except he's talking to a 500-year-old demon. Feng Yuan just looks at him. Zheng flinches. Those eyes. They aren't the eyes of a depressed drunk. They're a bottomless pit of darkness. Zheng's confidence evaporates in 2 seconds. He realized that even as a failure, his brother is still terrifying. Yuan asks him if he even has the courage to look him in the eye. He tells Zheng to stop gawking and follow him. The aunt and uncle are calling for a family meeting. The sun sets over the village. The peaceful family dinner is about to begin. The uncle starts the conversation with some fake wholesome talk about how proud he is. He offers them both 6 primeval stones to help with their cultivation. He makes a big show of bowing and presenting the stones, acting like the world's most generous benefactor. Yuan takes the bag without a word. He knows exactly what's happening. Zheng, on the other hand, is practically crying with gratitude. He's bowing and promising to never forget this kindness. He's falling for the scam hook, line, and sinker. The aunt joins in, acting all motherly and emotional. She mentions that they never had children of their own, so they've always viewed the twins as their own kids. Then comes the pitch. Fang Zheng, would you be willing to let us adopt you? Zheng is stunned. He's always wanted a real family. He says yes before the uncle can even finish the sentence. The aunt tells him to stop calling them aunt and uncle. Father, mother, Zheng says it with a big smile. She fakes some tears, acting like the 10 years they spent raising him weren't just a long-term investment. Then the uncle turns to Fang Yuan. What about you, big nephew? Fang Yuan just shakes his head. No, Zheng is shocked. He can't understand why his brother would turn down such a great offer. The uncle's face changes slightly. He says he won't force it, but since Yuan is 15, he needs to be independent. He offers Yuan 200 stones as a startup fund to go live on his own. 200 stones? To a teenager, that sounds like a lottery win. Yuan just stands up and asks to leave. He doesn't even say thank you. Zheng tries to stop him, thinking Yuan is being crazy, or not thinking straight. The uncle stops him. He says he's content with just having an A-grade son. Yuan walks out into the night, leaving the happy family behind. As soon as the door closes, the shadows on the wall reveal the uncle's true face. The brat saw through us. Here's the breakdown. The twins' parents left behind a massive inheritance. According to clan law, the eldest son, Fang Yuan, gets it all when he turns 16. If he gets adopted, he loses that right. The uncle managed to secure Zheng, but if Yuan stays independent and hits 16, the uncle has to hand over a fortune that's worth way more than 200 stones. The plan now? If he won't be adopted, they have to make sure he never reaches 16 as a respectable member of the clan. The aunt is worried because Yuan is too clever to make a mistake they can exploit. The uncle leans in with a terrifying look. If he won't make a mistake, can't we frame him instead? Back at the estate, Zheng is enjoying his new VIP life. A maid knocks on his door. It's Shen Kui. She's brought hot bathwater for the young master. Zheng is trying to act cool, telling her to bring it in. She walks in with a subtle She's looking at Zheng's awkward behavior. She's thinking about how the tables have turned. Fang Yuan was the genius, but now Zheng is the A-grade meal ticket. She gives a predatory smile. Winning over Zheng is her new mission. Outside, the weather is turning nasty. It's been raining for 3 days and 3 nights. 3 nights ago, Fang Yuan was out scouting with his wine jars. The rain is a disaster for him. It washes away the wine fragrance, making his lure completely useless. He's huddled in the bamboo forest, looking like a drowned rat. He knows he can't keep looking in this weather without raising suspicion. He smashes a wine jar in frustration. He has to stop the search for now. He retreats back to his room. If the liquor worm won't show up, he has to start refining the moonlight goo. He stares out the window. This will have to do. He sits in a lotus position and looks at his aperture. It's still at 44% capacity, the limit of his C-grade potential. Every drop of primeval essence is precious. It's the fuel for everything he does. He holds the moonlight goo in his palm. To refine it, he has to flood it with his own energy and erase the will of the insect. The goo fights back. This isn't a peaceful process. It's a battle of attrition inside his hand. 10 minutes in, and he's only made a 10% dent in the goo's resistance. 30 minutes later, he's sweating. His battery is draining faster than an iPhone running Genshin Impact. The moonlight goo glows with a stubborn blue light. Refining a goo is so difficult, he mutters. If he stops now, the goo will naturally expel his energy. He has to keep the pressure on, or he loses all his progress. He's refined 1/12 of the goo, but he's already used 75% of his energy. This is the talent gap in action. An A-grade student like Xing has so much energy, they can just brute force this in one go. Yuan has to stop and use a primeval stone to refill his tank. He only has 6 stones left. He's looking at a mental image of the B-grade kids like Mo Bei, who have elders backing them up with unlimited stones. He thinks about the liquor worm again. If he had that, his energy would be twice as potent, and this refinement would be a breeze. He hears something. The rain has finally stopped. It's been 3 days, and the sky is clearing up. Then, a knock on his door. It's a woman's voice. "Young Master Fang Yuan, I brought you some food and wine." It's Shen Kui. She's dressed in a very let's say strategically thin outfit. She's all smiles, acting like she's worried about his troubled heart. She starts pouring the wine, acting incredibly sweet. The liquid flows into the cup. The trap is being set. She grabs his hand and tells him to sit down. Your servant has mustered her courage. She leans into him, whispering that it doesn't matter what grade he is, she'll always want to be beside him. Then she drops the bomb. Tonight, I want to give my body to you. She offers him the cup. She even takes a sip herself to show it's safe. But her eyes tell a different story. They're sharp and calculating. She moves closer, her face inches from his. Yuan just looks at her. Still pretending? He realizes it's a power play. She's not here for love, she's here to frame him. She gives a fake, innocent smile. Yuan suddenly grabs her by the neck. Squeeze. Her eyes go wide. You're hurting me! Yuan's voice is like ice. So, uncle and aunt sent you to seduce me and frame me? There are people waiting downstairs to catch us, right? Who do you think you are? He lifts her off the ground with one hand. Trying to use your tactics on me with those 2 piles of rotten flesh on your chest? Absolute savagery. She's gasping for air, realizing she's not dealing with a teenage boy. She's staring into the eyes of a man who has killed thousands. A dark, demonic aura seems to surround him. Shen-Kui is seeing her own death. Do you think I can kill you or not? He's grinning now, and it's the scariest thing she's ever seen. She's internally screaming. She realizes this person before her is a literal devil. She sees him like a puppet master, holding her life on a string. I won't kill you this time, he says, dropping her. Go find my little brother. He's stupid and naive. He'll fall for your act. You can leave. She scrambles out the door, shaking and crying. Yuan just sits back down and picks up his book. The chibi version of Shen-Kui tries to come back in. Nope. He shuts the door in her face. The aunt and uncle's first plot just failed miserably, but Yuan knows they won't stop. He needs that liquor worm now. Can he find it before the first academy test? Stick around, because things are about to get even more demonic. Fang Yuan steps out of the house. He knows that trap the aunt and uncle set was actually pretty creative, even compared to the schemes he saw in his first 500-year run. He's walking through the dark, thinking about how a wise man avoids danger, but a devil? A devil knows that when your stats are low, you don't pick fights you can't win yet. You reposition. He walks into a local inn. The innkeeper is all smiles, probably thinking he's just another easy mark, looking for a cheap bed. The guy is rambling about clean rooms and room service, trying to upsell the student experience. Yuan doesn't care about the amenities. He orders a room, some food, and 2 jars of wine, making sure to ask for his change back. The innkeeper asks if he wants to eat in the hall or his room. Yuan looks out the window at the sunset. I'll eat in the hall. He needs to keep his ear to the ground. The cafeteria is noisy, filled with hunters and workers blowing their paychecks on cheap booze. Yuan is doing some mental math. With his trash-tier C-grade talent, refining a moonlight goo is going to take a lot of primeval stones. He's looking at his dinner, realizing that even if he finds the liquor worm, he might be too broke to actually keep it. The monk's treasure is his only hope. If he finds it, he's a king. If not, his cultivation speed is going to be slower than a 2G internet connection. He's been out here for a week, trying to bait this worm, and so far, nothing. Nearby, a group of hunters is getting rowdy. Brother Zhang, have another cup. They're all glazing this one guy, Brother Feng, for soloing a black-skinned wild boar. They're acting like he's the main character of a completely different story. They ask for the good stuff, and the innkeeper tells them it's 2 primeval stones a jar. 2 stones? For these mortal hunters, that's basically their entire life savings. They start accusing the innkeeper of trying to scam them. Brother Feng tries to de-escalate, saying they shouldn't waste money, but it's already too late. A guy at a nearby table laughs. He tells them if they're too broke to buy wine, they should just shut up and sit down. The innkeeper runs off to get the expensive jar, sensing a profit. He slams the green bamboo wine on the table. The aroma alone is enough to make the hunter's head spin. The innkeeper is selling it hard. Only inn in the village with this brew. Just smell that fragrance. Feng Yuan is watching. He knows the innkeeper isn't lying. Most wine in this village is just muddy rice water. The hunter who ordered it is sweating now. The waiter was too fast. He unsealed it before the guy could even check his wallet. The guy doubles down to save face. Today it's on me. Drink up. He's pretending to be a whale when he's really a shrimp. The rude guy from earlier isn't done. He mocks them, saying 1 small jar isn't enough for 6 people. The hunters have had enough. Brat, you sure have a lot of words. Stand up and fight me. The guy stands up. He looks confident. Too confident. Then they see the badge. It's a rank 1 Goo Master? The tavern goes quiet enough to hear a pin drop. The guy, Jiangya, just smirks. Come on then, do something. He's basically asking the whole table to jump him. He knows he's untouchable. He grabs a jar and takes a huge swing. He admits it smells amazing. The headhunter is suddenly all, my lord, and please forgive me. He's groveling like his life depends on it. Because it does. Jiangya smashes the jar on the floor. He goes on a rant. He's furious that these mortals are flaunting wealth and spending primeval stones on wine when he's a goo master struggling to get by. The hunters start offering him their stones as an apology. Yuan looks at the guy's badge. Number 1. Rank 1. He's about 20 years old. Yuan realizes this guy is actually a bigger loser than he is. D-grade talent, barely reached upper stage by age 20. He's a glorified delivery boy for the clan. But even a delivery boy goo master can solo 6 professional mortal hunters without breaking a sweat. Yuan just goes back to his food. The big fish eats the small fish. That's the law of the world. And this tavern is just a live-action demonstration. Another voice from the shadows tells Jiangya to stop humiliating them. If word gets out, I'll be embarrassed to know you. The goo masters leave, and Jiangya drops one last insult about how pathetic the hunters look. The tavern stays in a state of shock. The wine is dripping off the table. Yuan reaches out. Waiter, bring me a jar of that green bamboo wine. The innkeeper asks the same question again. Hall or room? The tavern is still reeling from Yuan's order. A 15-year-old just ordered the most expensive wine in the building. Jiangya stares at him, probably wondering who this kid thinks he is. Yuan doesn't even blink. Jiangya tries to play it off. Ha! It's a junior brother. He's trying to be patronizing, but he's clearly annoyed. The hunters are still on the floor, hearts thumping. They're just glad they aren't the target anymore. The innkeeper brings the wine to Yuan, with the kind of respect usually reserved for royalty. Yuan takes the wine and walks out. He has a date with destiny. He's thinking about the legend of the 4th clan head, the hero of the village, and his eternal rival, the demonic flower wine monk. The official story says the monk begged for mercy and then pulled a sneak attack. Yuan isn't buying it. A rank 5 demonic master doesn't beg. Yuan remembers a story from his past life. About a month from now, a drunk goo master is supposed to find the monk's body after getting dumped by his girlfriend. The scent of the wine is what lured the liquor worm out. The guy found the monk's skeleton in a hidden cave and hit the jackpot. His cultivation soared, and his ex-girlfriend came crawling back. Total underdog story. But Yuan feels something is off. In this world, everyone is a greedy monster. If that guy found a rank 5 inheritance, why would he tell the clan? Why would he hand it over to the upper ranks? It makes zero sense. Yuan is down to his last 2 stones after buying this wine. It's the final gamble. All or nothing. The air is crisp after the rain. Perfect for carrying a fragrance. He's confirmed that the monk's remains aren't in any of the obvious spots. Now, he has the finest brew in the village to act as a lure. He starts pouring the wine onto a rock. The fragrance spreads through the bamboo forest like a mist. He waits. He watches. Rustle. Something is moving in the undergrowth. He pours a bit more. The wind picks up, swirling the scent around. He moves through the bamboo, keeping as quiet as a ghost. Rustle. He pours more. His eyes are sharp, scanning every leaf. The jar is almost empty. This is it. One last drop. It hits a white flower. It drips down the petal. Splat. Yuan's eyes narrow. He sees it. Something is moving toward the flower. He thinks he failed. He's down to 2 stones and no liquor worm. He can't afford to take another risk like this. Thud. He throws the jar down. Sometimes life is just out of reach, no matter how much you plan. He's reflecting on the helplessness of life. Even a 500-year-old demon can get unlucky. Rustle. A cricket chirps. The forest is alive. He turns to leave. Then he sees a glow. His eyes widen. It's the liquor worm. It's right there on a bamboo stalk. He knows if it flies away, he'll never catch it. But he knows its behavior. When it drinks, it gets drunk. And when it's drunk, it's slow. The worm moves, glowing with a soft light. It's heading for the rock where he poured the wine. It lands. It starts drinking. Yuan is stalking it through the high grass. The worm is having the time of its life. It's completely hammered. Yuan pushes through the brush. The worm is face down in the flower, slurping up the wine. It's officially dizzy. It looks like a tiny, glowing marshmallow that just had too much to drink. It tries to fly away, but it's just swerving in the air. It's wobbling. Yuan moves like a panther. Whoosh! The wind howls through the bamboo forest under a crescent moon. Something blue and fast streaks through the dark, cutting through the trees like a ghost. Our guy is right on its tail, his eyes locked on the prize. The liquor worm is fast, but Feng Yuan has been tracking this thing for a week in the mud. He isn't letting it go now. He splashes through the shallow water at the base of the cliffs. He stops at the foot of a massive waterfall. It is loud, cold, and exactly where the trail ends. He takes a breath, looking like he just ran a marathon through a swamp. It is here, he says. The water thunders down, hiding whatever secret the flower wine monk left behind. He stands there for a second, just staring at the wall of water. Then, he reaches out. He pushes through the heavy curtain of the waterfall and finds a hidden entrance in the rock. Water drips down his face, but his expression doesn't change. He is back in the zone. He steps into the dark tunnel, his mind already running through the possibilities. It could be a nest of poisonous serpents, or a gecko waiting to end his run early. Or maybe it is a trap. He knows exactly who the flower wine monk was. A demonic master doesn't just leave a gift out of the goodness of his heart. He stays low, moving with the kind of caution you only learn after dying once. But as he moves deeper, the tunnel stays quiet. Almost too quiet. Then, a sliver of light cuts through the dark. His eyes narrow. The light grows brighter as the tunnel opens up into a larger chamber. He reaches out and brushes against the rough stone of a narrow crack. He squeezes through the opening, pushing himself into the heart of the mountain. He calculates the distance he has walked. By his count, he should be well past the outer boulders and deep inside the cliffside now. He is in the center of the mountain. And he isn't alone. The walls are covered in vines, not just regular plants, but winesack flower goo and rice pouch grass goo. He reaches out to touch one. Most people think goo only look like rocks or insects, but they can take the form of flowers or grass too. Then he sees it, nestled in the center of the vines, glowing with a soft, iridescent light. The liquor worm. It looks like a harmless silkworm, but to a rank 1 master, this thing is a cheat code. He grabs it, no hesitation. He tucks the little guy into his robes, securing his biggest win of the week. But the liquor worm was just the appetizer. He looks up and sees the rest of the inheritance. It is a skeleton, slumped against the roots of a tree, staring back at him with empty sockets. "Found you," he says. This is the flower wine monk, the man the village elders have been using as a boogeyman for centuries. He reaches for the skeleton, looking for anything else the monk might have been hiding. Suddenly, his survival instinct screams. He pulls back, wondering if he is being followed or if his uncle sent someone to finish him off. In a split second, he considers every threat. Maybe it was that guy Jiang Ya from the inn. He clenches his teeth, frustrated by how vulnerable he is. He is rank 1, initial stage, with 0 fighting ability. If someone is actually here, he is cooked. Then a voice booms through the cave, telling him he has been poisoned by a single gate poison goo and has 7 days to live. Feng Yuan looks down, his face a mask of cold fury. He stands up slowly, facing the source of the sound. But the voice is coming from a man who is currently begging for his life on the wall. He blinks. Wait a minute. The wall is glowing red. A massive projection is playing out like a movie, showing a fight that happened hundreds of years ago. The man in the red light is the flower wine monk. He is laughing, mocking someone for being pathetic, despite being a rank 5 master. Feng Yuan watches closely. This is the real history of the Gu Yu clan. The guy on his knees, crying and snotting all over himself, is the 4th generation clan leader. The guy the history books call a hero. From the clothes and the elders standing in the background, it is clear. This is the top brass of the clan, and they are currently being treated like dirt. The monk isn't buying any of it. He tells the leader he came to trade fairly, but the clan tried to poison his liquor instead. He points a finger at the leader. You have no one to blame for your death but yourself. The hero of the clan offers up everything. The spirit spring that produces primeval stones. The secret underground moon orchids. He even offers to become the monk's lifelong servant, begging for an enslavement goo just to stay alive. The monk laughs in his face. An enslavement goo is rank 5, and way too precious to waste on a coward. He tells the leader he will spare him for now, but only if the clan pays a massive tribute of moon orchids and primeval stones every week. The leader thanks him, groveling like a dog. It is the most embarrassing thing Feng Yuan has ever seen. But then, the monk's face twists. He grunts in pain. The clan leader sees the opening and lunges, his face turning from a coward's mask to a killer's grin in 1 second. He reveals he used a rank 4 Moonshadow Goo. It is meant for concealment, but it also restricts a target's primeval C. He thinks he has won. He tells the monk to surrender and become his servant. The monk responds by sending him straight to hell. The recording descends into chaos. The elders scream to avenge the leader, but they are all terrified. The monk isn't finished. Even poisoned and dying, a rank 5 demonic master is still a monster. He tears through them like paper. The recording shows blood splattering against the cave walls. Bodies are piled up everywhere. The righteous clan was absolutely slaughtered. A heavy thud echoes as the last of the elders falls. The monk stands over the massacre, a shadow of pure death. He curses. He knows his time is up. He swears he will come back in the future to finish the job. The projection flickers and fades as the red light dies down. The scene repeats, the monk's voice echoing the same threats over and over. Feng Yuan stands in the center of the cave, watching the clan leader grovel for the 100th time. He watches the whole cycle, absorbing every detail of the fight. I see, he says. The mystery of the flower wine monk's treasure is finally solved. He spots a small bug on the wall, a photo audio goo. It feeds on light and sound, and the monk used it to leave this recording behind as a final middle finger to the clan. In his previous life, the guy who found this place was probably terrified. He realized the clan's entire history was a lie kept hidden by the top brass. That guy knew that if the elders found out he had this recording, they would execute him to keep the secret. So, that guy reported it to the clan to prove his loyalty. He took the safe path. But Feng Yuan isn't that guy. So what if I'm discovered? He thinks. He went through hell to find this. He isn't sharing the profit with anyone. He stretches, his eyes landing back on the skeleton. Without risk, there is no profit. He starts tearing away the vines and roots covering the monk's remains. He kicks aside the debris, looking for the real loot. He kneels by the bones, his hands moving with practiced efficiency. He finds a small bag and pulls it out. It clinks with the sound of stones. He opens it and frowns. Only 15 pieces. Old miser. But then he realizes the monk had been fighting for his life and poisoned by the moonshadow goo. He probably burned through most of his primeval stones just trying to stay alive. He looks at the withered vines on the floor. Goo are living creatures. They need specific food to survive. The monk was rank 5, the same level as the clan leader. He grew these wine sack and rice pouch goo here just to feed himself while he hid. In the end, the poison was too much. The moonshadow goo dragged him to his grave. After 300 years, almost all his goo died of starvation. Only the photo-audio bug and the liquor worm survived. The liquor worm survived because it is a survivor. When its food source in the cave withered, it didn't just lay down and die. It ventured out of the cave to find wild flowers, which is how it ended up smelling Feng Yuan's green bamboo wine and walking right into his trap. The photo-audio goo is a one-time use item. Once it finishes its recording cycle, it's done. The liquor worm is definitely the biggest prize here. He remembers that the guy from the previous timeline was already rank 3 when he found this. To a rank 3 master, a rank 1 liquor worm is basically trash, so he reported it for the reward. Yuan asks himself if he should do the same, but then he looks at the wall again. The real treasure isn't the stones or the worm, it is the recording. This image is a political nuke. The rival villages on the mountain would pay a fortune for evidence that could destroy the Guyu clan's reputation. It wouldn't wipe the clan out, but the damage would be massive. He scoffs at the idea of relying on the clan. In this world, the only person you can trust is yourself. He steps back out through the waterfall, the roar of the water masking his exit. The history books will keep saying the monk's remains were found in an underground cave, but it was clearly inside the mountain wall. The clan just lied about the location to keep people away. The elders probably found this place, destroyed the original recording, and spread a fake story to save face. None of that matters now, he says, stepping into the forest. The flower wine monk has been ransacked, and while the loot was a bit light, he got exactly what he came for. He has the liquor worm and enough stones to start his real cultivation. His next move is the inn. He needs to refine this goo so he can qualify for the academy dorms and start using clan resources. Staying at the inn is expensive. He can only afford another night or two before he runs out of cash. He checks his wallet. He had 2 stones, plus the 15 from the monk. 17 stones total. Here is the problem. He is C grade. His aperture is only 44% full, and he burns through energy way faster than he can recover it. To refine a goo, he needs to forcibly crush its will, and that requires external help, meaning he has to crack primeval stones for an instant recharge. A standard moonlight goo takes 5 to 8 stones to refine for someone with his talent, but the liquor worm is rare. It is going to take at least 11 stones, maybe 16 if the worm is stubborn. The difficulty is higher because the liquor worm is a higher tier rank 1 goo. It is going to fight him every step of the way. If he messes this up, he loses all his stones and has to start from 0. Refining it could leave him with as little as 6 stones left for food and rent. He walks through the village gates, his face hidden in the shadows. He reaches the sign for the inn, the light of the lanterns reflecting in his eyes. He has one shot at this, one night. The grind is officially on. Yuan gets back to the inn late. A heavy knock at the door wakes the attendant, who grumbles about the hour before realizing who it is. The attendant immediately switches to full customer service mode. He bows low, calling him young lordship, and asking if he wants a late-night snack from the kitchen. Yuan isn't here for the appetizers. He tells the guy to skip the food and just bring hot water so he can wash the mountain mud off his soul. The attendant bows even lower, promising the water will be there in seconds. He watches Yuan walk away with a look that's half respect and half envy. The guy thinks being a goo master would be the ultimate life. He wishes he had the talent to cultivate so he could be a man above men. But our guy knows the truth. Transcending mortality sounds cool on a recruitment poster, but the price of admission is high. It's basically a pay-to-win game. You need primeval stones for literally everything. Cultivating, fighting, refining, even just existing. Without a whale tier backing or a massive bank account, the path is basically a vertical climb. He lights a candle in his room, the flame flickering against the dark walls. The attendant brings the water and bows his way out. Yuan stays silent, his shadow stretching across the floor. He wrings out a towel, the water dripping back into the basin. He cleans up, his mind finally shifting back to the prize he hauled out of the waterfall. He lies down, staring at the ceiling. The liquor worm is finally in his possession. This little bug is significantly rarer than the moonlight goo the clan hands out. It doesn't just attack, it actually upgrades your latent talent by refining your energy. He pulls the worm out. It sits in his palm, looking entirely too cute for something that's about to be a major problem. He starts the refinement process, flooding the worm with his primeval essence. It glows with a cold, blue light as the struggle begins. He closes his eyes, entering a deep, meditative state. In his aperture, his primeval sea is churning. He is only rank 1 initial stage, which is basically the tutorial level of power. The plan is simple. If he can condense his essence with the liquor worm, he can speedrun his way to the middle stage. The benefits are too big to put into words. But there is a catch. He hasn't mastered the worm yet. He needs to make it his vital goo. If he can't, he's just holding a very expensive paperweight that consumes his energy without giving anything back. The worm fights back. Its will is shockingly strong, swirling in his hand like a mini hurricane. It is consuming his essence at double the rate of a normal goo. Our guy realizes he is in for a fight. No matter what, he thinks, this thing is becoming mine. The candle burns low on the table as the hours pass. Yuan is sweating now. The refinement is draining him faster than he expected. The candle is almost a puddle of wax. Suddenly, the morning sun hits the windows. He's been at this all night. He realizes why the resistance is so high. This wasn't just a wild bug. This was likely the flower wine monk's vital goo. The monk was rank 5, and his vital goo would have been rank 5 too. After 3 centuries of starving, it's dropped back to rank 1, but its will is still as firm as a diamond. Think of it like trying to tame a legendary boss's pet that spent the last 300 years waiting for its master to come back. Yuan isn't just fighting a bug, he's fighting the lingering will of a rank 5 demon. Refining this in a month is impossible for a regular rookie. He'd need a rank 2 or 3 senior to suppress it for him. He does the math. 17 stones aren't going to cut it. He needs at least 30 to finish the job alone. His stomach growls. The 500-year-old demon is currently being defeated by a lack of breakfast. He decides to fill his stomach first, then figure out where to farm the extra primeval stones. He heads downstairs to the dining area and orders a meal. He's the only one there, just the way he likes it. He's halfway through a bite when someone ruins the vibe. "Big brother, why are you staying at the inn?" It's Fang Zhang. He looks outraged, standing there like the protagonist of a completely different anime. Yuan doesn't even look up. He just keeps eating. Zhang is on a roll. He asks what Yuan did to the maid, Shen Kui. Apparently, she's been crying non-stop since she left Yuan's room yesterday, and every time Zhang tries to comfort her, she just cries harder. Yuan finally looks at him. His eyes are as cold as a winter morning. Zhang flinches for a second, but keeps his righteous posture. He starts lecturing. He says Yuan is venting his frustration over his C-grade misfortune on a poor servant girl who has served him for years. He slams his hand on the table, trying to look intimidating. Yuan doesn't argue. He just delivers a lightning-fast slap that sends Zhang's head spinning. "Useless bastard," Yuan says. He asks Zhang who he thinks he's talking to. To Yuan, Shen Kui is just a servant girl, and Zhang is choosing a stranger over his own blood. Zhang is clutching his face, looking like his world just ended. "You hit me? You've never hit me before!" He starts screaming about talent grades again. He says it's not his fault he's A grade, and Yuan is C grade. He calls it heaven's arrangement. Yuan slaps him again. He calls him a naive fool. He reminds Zhang who actually took care of him when their parents died. He brings up the receipts. When the aunt and uncle only gave them one new robe, who wore the old one? When there was only one bowl of porridge, who gave it to Zhang? When Zhang got bullied, who brought him home? He leans in, his shadow looming over his brother. He asks what he is to Zhang now that Zhang has biological parents in the form of the greedy aunt and uncle. Zhang starts stammering. He claims he's just always wanted the warmth of a family. Yuan tells him that from today on, they aren't brothers anymore. He is officially unfriending him in real life. Then, he pivots to the deal. He knows Zhang has a crush on the maid. He tells him he didn't touch her, and for 6 primeval stones, he'll hand her over as Zhang's personal maid. Zhang is horrified, but also tempted. He says he'll do the exchange, but he only has 5.5 stones left. He hands over a bag. One of the stones is a half chunk, because Zing used it to speed up his own moonlight goo refinement. Yuan takes the bag without a second thought. He tells Zing to get lost before he changes his mind. Zing stares at him for a long moment, looking completely broken. Yuan gives him the demonic path glare. This isn't a conversation anymore. It's a threat. Zhang turns and walks away, his head down. He leaves the inn, the door creaking shut behind him. As he walks away, Zhang's expression shifts. He smiles to himself. He thinks he's finally saved his crush and won a victory. He doesn't realize he just paid for a subscription to a girl who was already legally his brother's property. He runs back to the estate, probably to go report his heroic deed to the girl. Back at the inn, Yuan is perfectly calm. He just made 5.5 stones for a person he was planning to ignore anyway. The attendant comes back and asks if his Lord Master wants his breakfast reheated. The guy is terrified. He just saw a rank 1 student slap an A-grade genius and then sell a person in 5 minutes. The attendant makes himself scarce. He doesn't want to be the next thing Yuan decides to trade. Yuan's eyes are back on the goal. He looks at the table, his mind already calculating the next few days. He tells the waiter to go ahead and reheat the food. Efficiency first. He's already moved on. The drama with his brother was just a business transaction to him. Cut to the aunt and uncle. They are losing their minds. Your brother said WHAT? Zhang is bowing, explaining how the encounter at the inn went down. He thinks he's explaining a negotiation. The uncle's face goes dark. A vein is practically popping in his neck. He lectures Zhang. He reminds him that Shen Kui isn't Yuan's property to sell. She was assigned to him by them. He calls it a bargaining chip and says Zhang was a fool to pay for her. He tells Zhang to leave. He gives him another 6 stones and tells him to focus on refining his gu so he can take first place in the academy. Zhang says he's ashamed and bows his way out. He's basically a puppet at this point. The uncle tells him to hurry up. Time is running out for the academy rewards. Xing walks through the courtyard, feeling the weight of his shame. The second the door closes, the uncle slams his hand on the table. He unloads a verbal barrage on Yuan. The aunt tries to calm him down, saying it's only 6 stones. The uncle snaps at her, saying she has long hair but short insight. Here's the strategic breakdown. Yuan is C grade. To refine a moonlight gu, 6 stones shouldn't be enough. But now that Yuan scammed Zhang out of 6 more, he has 12, which is more than enough for a standard refinement. The uncle's plan is all about the long game. If Yuan falls behind his peers now, he won't get academy resources. If he doesn't get resources, he stays weak. It's a vicious cycle. No resources means no progress. No progress means no inheritance. The aunt asks why a rank 2 master like him is so afraid of a rank 1 kid. The uncle explains that as a senior, he can't openly attack a junior without the clan elders stepping in. He has to use the rules. The rules say to claim the house at 16, you must be at least rank 1 middle stage. He realizes Yuan is terrifyingly smart. The kid saw through the maid trap immediately and turned it into a profit. He wishes Yuan was as stupid as Zhang. He tells the aunt to treat Zhang better. He sees Zhang's resentment toward his brother as a good thing that can be guided into a weapon. 2 days later, the village is quiet, but the inner struggle hasn't stopped. Yuan is back in his room, surrounded by a swirling aura of blue essence. He spent 48 hours straight on this, only sleeping 2 hours a day. He's burned through 12 stones, and he's only 1/15 of the way through. He knows someone else will likely finish their moonlight gu refinement in the next few days. He doesn't care. Falling behind for a moment is nothing as long as he has the liquor worm. Suddenly, the worm counterattacks. It releases a burst of energy, trying to shatter his concentration. He has to focus everything on resisting it. If he's disturbed now, his entire cultivation could go up in smoke. The energy in the room starts screeching. Something is happening deep inside his aperture. A golden light begins to shine through the blue. Yuan's eyes fly open. This is the spring-autumn cicada? The rank 6 immortal gu suddenly emerges from the center of his energy sea. It surges forward, its wings vibrating with a frequency that silences everything else in the room. The wave of power is massive. The liquor worm's resistance instantly vanishes. It's not even a fight, it's a total surrender. The cicada glows with a blinding intensity. Yuan is stunned. This shouldn't be possible. The aura of the cicada washes over his entire aperture. The liquor worm is pinned down by the sheer weight of a rank 6 existence. Yuan realizes the cicada followed him 500 years back into the past. It wasn't a one-time use item. It survived the reboot. This was the first rank 6 gu he ever refined in his past life, and the last thing he saw before he died. It had been resting in his body the whole time, in a deep slumber to recover from the time travel damage. It was so weak that even he couldn't sense it. It looks like a regular cicada, but its eyes hold a terrifying majesty. It only woke up because it sensed the liquor worm was threatening his aperture. It's like a sleeping dragon waking up because a mosquito bit it. Even now, it's on the edge of death. It's incredibly weak. Actually, he's lucky it's weak. If the cicada were at full power, its aura alone would have made his rank 1 aperture explode like a grenade. He spent all that effort seeking out the liquor worm to be his vital gu. But the truth is, he had a vital gu from the very beginning. He smiles, a real dark grin. He is a rank 1 master possessing a rank 6 vital gu. The speedrun just got a massive buff. The world has no idea what's about to hit it. The liquor worm is top tier for a starter, but standing next to the spring-autumn cicada, it's basically just a common mob. Our guy is currently laughing internally because he just realized his vital goo isn't the worm. It's a rank 6 legendary item he brought back from the future. The cicada is too weak to use its time travel skill right now. If he tried, it would literally evaporate. But it's still a rank 6 existence, meaning he can use its aura as a massive submit button for any low-level bug. The cicada's pressure surges through his aperture like a tidal wave. The liquor worm, which was fighting him for hours, starts trembling like it just saw the final boss of the game. He pushes his essence forward with zero resistance. The energy floods the worm instantly. Done. Fully refined in a fraction of the time. The beam of light from the refinement shoots through his energy sea. His aperture settles, the once violent waves now completely under his control. The liquor worm dives into his essence sea, happy to just be alive after feeling that rank 6 aura. It floats there, looking drowsy and perfectly tamed. Having the cicada changes everything. He looks at his moonlight goo, the basic one the Academy gave him. He does the exact same thing, releases the cicada's aura, and lets it do the heavy lifting. The entire refinement of the moonlight goo takes exactly 5 minutes. For context, most students take days or weeks of manual labor to get this result. He didn't even use a single primeval stone to recharge. Normally, a C-grade talent would have to crack open his entire savings account just to have enough mana to finish this. He sits in silence, realizing he just broke the game's economy. The moon mark on his forehead glows with a brilliant white light. The refinement is so perfect, it feels like an impact hitting his soul. The crescent moon symbol is now permanent, etched between his eyes as proof of his rank 1 status. He smirks. With the cicada in hand, he basically has a developer's console open in real life. Being C-grade doesn't matter anymore. He doesn't need stones to pay for his lack of talent, because the cicada makes refinement free. He initially thought first place was out of reach, but the script just took a wild turn. Time waits for no one. He stands up, ready to head to the academy and collect his prize money while everyone else is still asleep. 15 minutes later, he's at the academy gates, pounding on the door in the middle of the night. The academy elder is woken up out of a dead sleep, looking like he's about to fire whoever is disturbing him. A guard reports that a student has already finished refining their moonlight goo. The elder had given orders to be woken up the second the first name appeared, no matter the hour. This is the big moment the clan has been waiting for. He throws on his robes, his heart probably racing. He's already assuming it's the A-grade genius, Fang Zhang. The guard bows, confirming it's one of the twins from the Fang branch. The elder smiles, fully convinced his investment in the genius brother just paid off. He dismisses the idea of any B-grade students winning, because in this world, talent is usually the only thing that matters. The hallway lanterns flicker as they head toward the testing hall. The guard looks at the kid standing there and has to do a double take. Wait, your name is Fang Yuan, not Fang Zhang? The elder walks into the hall, his shadow looming large over the two of them. He starts the congratulatory speech before he even looks at the kid's face. He's praising Fang Zhang for not disappointing him and proving that A-grade talent is unbeatable. Our guy just stands there with a deadpan face and corrects him. Sir Elder, you're mistaken. I am Fang Yuan. Zheng is my younger brother. The elder's brain literally stops working. He repeats the name like he's trying to solve a math equation that doesn't add up. He checks the kid's forehead. You actually refined it? Yuan just stares back. Indeed. The elder is sweating now. He asks if Yuan is truly the first of the batch to arrive. Yuan gives a subtle shrug. If no one arrived before me, then it seems like it. He drops a fake story about how he spent 2 stones and stayed up all night, working tirelessly. Meanwhile, the sun is coming up, and Feng Zhang is running up the academy steps. He is sweating, gasping for air, and fully convinced he's about to be the hero of the village. He's thinking about how he's going to make everyone look up to him. He's been dreaming about this moment of justice since he was a kid. He runs into some guards and students at the gate. One of them asks him why his brother is already leaving. Xing is confused for a second, then shakes it off. He yells that he isn't Yuan. He's the A-grade genius, and he's here to claim his #1 prize. He strikes a dramatic pose, ready for the applause. The guard just looks at him with a mix of pity and confusion. You arrived 1 step too late, the guard says. He tells Zhang that his mediocre brother already met with the elder and took the top spot. Zhang's face goes completely pale. He starts screaming that it's impossible because his brother is only C-grade. He thinks the whole village is playing a prank on him. The guard stays calm. There's no reason for them to lie about something this official. The list is already confirmed by the academy elder. He asks Zhang why his brother didn't bother telling him the news. Zhang just stands there, the world crashing down around him. How can this be? It's the ultimate L. He's thinking about how hard he worked while his brother was out getting drunk every night. And yet, the drunk brother is the one with the trophy. He looks at the mountains, probably wondering if the universe is just trolling him at this point. The official name list is posted. First place, Guyue Fang Yuan. Second place, Guyue Feng Zhang. That's going to be a permanent scar on Zhang's ego. The news spreads like wildfire. In the Mo family residence, the elders are in disbelief. A C-grade talent beating an A-grade is like a bronze player winning a pro tournament. Every major faction in the village is starting to reevaluate their maps. The balance of power just shifted over a single night. At the Qi family home, another major power player is getting the report. Guyue Qi Chen, the other C-grade rival, is bowing to his grandfather, Elder Qi Lian. The elder tells him not to be influenced by the news. He breaks down the logic of why Yuan won. He thinks Yuan just got lucky and chose a moonlight gu with a weak will that submitted easily. He tells his grandson that Yuan is still just a C-grade trash tier talent with no resources. He tells him to stop worrying about a trivial matter like this. His real enemies are Zhang and the Mo family's genius. Qi Chen smirks, his confidence restored. He's ready to get back to the grind, knowing his grandpa has his back. Elder Qi Lian gives him a sinister look. He promises to personally use his rank 3 aura to crush the next gu's will for him. This is how the righteous path actually works. They talk about talent, but they cheat with family connections. 10 days later, the entire class is gathered in the training courtyard. The academy elder stands before them. He explains that the Moonlight Gu is the symbol of their clan, just like other clans have their own signature bugs. Today, they learn to actually use them for violence. He tells everyone to watch closely. Even if their vital Gu isn't the Moonlight type, the long-distance attack logic he's about to show applies to almost everything. He raises his hand. You can feel the primeval essence moving from his aperture into his palm. The Moonlight Gu in his hand begins to glow with a sharp, azure energy. The students are in awe. For most of them, this is the first time they've seen a real move. The elder says the final step is simple. Launch it. He swings his arm in a smooth, practiced motion. The moonblade flies through the air, cutting a path through the wind. It hits the straw target with a sickening slash. The target's head is clean severed, hitting the ground with a heavy thud. The students are cheering, but Feng Yuan is just standing there bored. Remember, in his past life, this man founded an entire demonic sect and was a rank 6 god. Watching a rank 3 elder demonstrate a basic, beginner move is like watching a pro gamer explain how to use a mouse. It's child's play to him. The elder tells everyone who refined a moonlight gu to step forward. They all grab their own grass puppets and start chattering. They think they're about to become action heroes. One student tries to mobilize his essence, but the energy just swirls around his hand like a broken toy. The courtyard is filled with whooshing sounds and kids wheezing from the effort. Moonblades are flying everywhere, but most of them are weak and missing by a mile. 2 students are already complaining about how hard it is. They realize that launching it is a lot harder than the elder made it look. The elder watches them with a critical eye, looking for the next potential star. The courtyard is a mess of blue energy and missed shots. The targets remain mostly intact. The reality of cultivation is finally setting in. Having a gun doesn't mean you know how to shoot.